you will go out for 3 months for clerkship. So that means effectively you are in LDC for only 6 months to do a very comprehensive course. That course, if somebody did that LDC course and sat for a master's, the examination will pass. So I think it would be reasonable that the period should be made 1 year. And that would include the 3 months for clerkship. But some people would argue that you do 1 year comprehensive course and then go and do clerkship also. The method of apprenticeship, you do it after the course or you do it before. I think those are areas of discussion. But the curriculum is an important thing to tailor. You see the time, if you see the courses, because we go to LDC and study advocacy, how to go and appear in court. This is a simple course which can be done in the university, and that's what same paper say. You go and do accounts. You can do accounts within those 6 months. It's a complicated course. That's why when you come out, many lawyers don't know how to keep books of accounts, and you have these conflicts of a lawyer not having a client's account properly. He doesn't know accounts. He doesn't know how to separate expenses because the time is so short for that course. So I think maybe you can take the course back to university and say when you're doing this, you must also do a separate subject within the 4 years on accounts so that you know how to keep accounts for the legal law fund. And the other one was, which I looked at, I talked about decentralization, was the issue of the material itself. The complaint many students would say the lecturers don't give them sufficient content. Now, who should look at the content? There is an overlap between what is given in the university, because if you talk of civil procedure, an area I'm in, you do civil procedure in Makerere. You also go to LDC and do civil procedure. Now, I think we should be able to look at the civil procedure you do in the university vis-a-vis the civil procedure you do in LDC and see how it becomes more of a continuation than beginning afresh on all the principles.
To think, how are you going to attract lecturers, senior lawyers, to be traveling up country, then coming back to town? Because now you get Mr. Cheberion and an advocate, not the one in the Solicitor General's office, and he must travel to Kisoro and come back. He needs that transport allowance. That 2-3 days is going to spend in Kisoro and drive back, and then you have to pay him. Do you think in the near future that is feasible? And even sustainable? Because even those who are currently teaching, we have a problem. We are paying them peanuts and we have not attracted many senior lawyers. Cross-border practice. First of all, we're embarrassed for those of us who attended the East African Law Society meeting in Uganda. I don't know whether your staff briefed you, but we had a problem with our society because when the issue was raised, Ugandan lawyers said, you know, we will not discuss that. And that was the time for adoption. So the guy said, no, we have never discussed that. And the president was in a very, very difficult position. So we've not yet created that consensus amongst the legal practitioners to say, look here, we are comfortable with this sort of mutual agreement. We have not created that consensus. And understandably on self-interest, because what has happened, you know, countries like Kenya, their firms have expanded and so on, and they've been dealing basically.
Uplifting these law schools, and to what extent is it by operation of the law, or is it by mere goodwill?
They are supposed to do this in consultation, in professional bodies.
Yes.
But like Honorable Member said, you know, the subjects are prepared and it's submitted to the council for consideration. And I think that kind of interaction does not give the two institutions enough time to study in depth programs for university. Because this come in place, you are told this university has come into play. These are the subjects, the course content, look at it. The university has taken it. The subjects are there. So I think there is a need for further.
But what role? Because the university is already licensed. And courses have been approved. Say now look at it. Because I think that is eventually what will lead to litigation. So when we are licensed,
why are you stopping it?
Why are you stopping us?
You will have a ceremonial duty.
Yeah. So to me, I think my only view is to reinforce National Council for Higher Education. By legislation, really, not really.
No council.
No council. Yes. But actually, it's not even about the legal profession. We should be looking at all professionals, getting to whether it is medicine, whether it is
the interaction profession,
whatever it is. We need to have this other professional regulator really to be at the center stage of licensing and also supervision. Because after you have already licensed them, and do you have a mechanism of monitoring and making sure that these people are getting the quality education as required by the professional standards?
Okay, I think that's a matter we can take up. We shall see how to respond to it in writing. That the observations are certainly very pertinent.
And if you need to look at the parliamentary resolutions for last year, when we were dealing with LDC, that the matter came up. Parliament.
It has.
We used to have a teacher in senior 5 and senior 6 for economics. Sometimes students, what happens, sometimes going out mischief and then coming back. And you were given a test, can't make it. Then you would say, but young men, how can you put your one leg in ice, you put another one in fire, and you say you are on average? Because really, first of all, this is a practical course. And you can see, even if you made it 1 year instead of 9 months, still the challenge is the same. I know I've gone through there, most of the lawyers here have gone through there. It is demanding and it needs attention. It needs presence. Now, how will you then come if, for instance, you are given leverage to be absent, say, half of the time, come and do the exam? Well, they may be brilliant ones who will pass. But many are like that fail. And then will you come and say, we have failed because of the malice of the LDC? So I think this 90%, I think attendance is a must, unless there are special circumstances. Person is sick and you are permitted to be absent, that's allowed. But simply because you are in parliament and you make a choice. You can kill one term and go and concentrate on something you think you must get. You get it. Then go back and campaign. Go back to parliament. So me, I would have no sympathy on this issue of attendance. There should be attendance. On the option of questions, that's interesting. You see, this is why we have what we call professions and other courses. If you're a professional, you're a professional. More often than not, professionals, it involves the person's life is hanging on your mercy. Person, for instance, you are in the dock, is charged of murder, you are representing him, you are cross-examining your witnesses, and you can say, and you have to say, no, give me an option of those questions. telephone, everything. You must be able, you see, when you're a doctor, for instance, you have a patient in the ward, and there are so many challenges coming up, all complications, even the ones you never expected. Person is about to die, his life is...
I never studied that.
And then you said, this one I think they did not give me an option. So I think that too, I think the question should be, are these questions related to the course content? Are they expected to understand questions and appreciate? Are they going to make them better lawyers in the field out there? Those are some of the things to take into consideration. But I would not actually belabor so much on the issue of option. We are fully on board with the better arrangement for our children in Dublin. Thank you so much.
I think, Mr. Chairman, before the Attorney General.
Yes, before you wrap up, we have just been joined by Honorable Florence Namayanja and Honorable Joseph Balekudengo. Yes, and then, sorry,
I just want to request the Attorney General, now that he says that he's happy we are having an input in that cabinet paper, to address himself to remuneration of lecturers. It will serve no purpose creating an infrastructure of country without trying to getting money to attract senior lawyers to go and teach. It should be one of the priority, in my view. Otherwise, you put the buildings there and so on, invest